Cool, so I know some of you are new to the Habit Hub. I know some of you have been here quite a while. I set these up about a year ago, so we do these once a month, last Tuesday of every month, and it is about building habits, improving lifestyle. There's no point putting all that work in the gym if you're not going to actually change anything outside of it, which I know everyone is wanting to do. So yeah, these are really, really important just to figure out what's going on day to day in your lifestyle, how to overcome certain challenges, all that kind of stuff. So each month we'll have a different topic. Sometimes we'll kind of cover certain things, because it's quite important just to kind of go over things time and time again to drill it into your habits. But yeah, this one is around summer, obviously. So I put a poll in the group and most people kind of said, you know, diet, nutrition around summer is quite a challenging thing, which obviously is a big thing for most people. And then a couple of other things that kind of pops up as well was like energy and stress. Quite a few people voted for that, so I've kind of mixed it all into one, but mainly we're going to be covering summer and how to kind of navigate nutrition around summer, because that is obviously a very challenging thing with lots of social occasions and everything. So yeah, and then we'll just dip into how energy and stress can actually affect your nutrition and your kind of food decisions. So I've called it the Summer Survival Guide, so you'll all kind of leave with a bit of a guide to, yeah, go through summer and hopefully enjoy yourselves, but still keep control of nutrition and habits and lifestyle and all that kind of stuff. So who feels that summer makes your goals harder? Show of hands. Yeah, most people. So yeah, obviously summer's a lot busier for the majority of people, more social occasions, more going out. It can be a more challenging time to be able to take control of your nutrition, sleep as well sometimes, with staying up later, staying out later, which all plays an effect to how we feel and how we operate. So more social events, holidays, barbecues, eating out, more alcohol potentially, kids off school, routine can be quite disrupted for a lot of people as well. And then just feeling a little bit more tired and overwhelmed. So a lot of people can experience this through summer. But the real problem isn't actually summer. So summer's not the problem that what it is. Most people blame like holidays and barbecues and alcohol and weekends and being busy. It's so easy to blame those things. But these aren't the actual problem. The challenge is actually that summer exposes weaknesses in your systems. Okay? So if your systems aren't fully locked in and fully drilled into your habits and the way that you're living, then summer just exposes those weaknesses. So for example, if our nutrition isn't fully kind of in order, so you're not preparing meals, you're not tracking, you're not keeping focus on what you need to be eating, then summer's going to expose that, because you're going to have a barbecue come in or you're going to have a holiday. And whilst that makes it a little bit more challenging, obviously, if we have systems and we have things built in, then it's going to make it a lot easier to stick to, okay? So if your progress only works when life is predictable, it's never sustainable, okay? So if life is just predictable all the time, it's nice and easy to track our food and make sure we're eating well, make sure we're sleeping well, make sure we're training and everything like that. But, you know, when life is a bit more unpredictable, that's when we need to obviously make sure that we're doing the right things to stay on track. And you know, you're not always going to be perfect all the time. That's the thing to kind of take away from this. It's just about creating systems to still stay on track and not completely go off grid with it all. So summer is actually a bit of a stress test on your systems, okay? So if you think about January, it's fairly easy. So you might have a kind of similar routine for most people. You know, a similar work schedule, depending who you are, same meal timings, fewer social events, that type of stuff. So that can potentially be an easy time after the Christmas period. You're quite, focused on eating well and, living better. But summer can then, throw you off track a little bit. So it is different, and life does become unpredictable. The question becomes, can your habits survive real life? Real life, social life, getting busier. Can those habits actually stick through that? That's the most important thing that we're going to kind of try and discover today. So everyone's going to be a little bit individual with this, which is completely cool. So what I want you to do is, if you open up your booklets onto page 1, I want you to circle your summer danger zones. So what situations consistently cause you to lose control? So just have a think. So this is all just really good conscious thinking about what is actually the problem over summer for you. So it could be weekends away, airport food, barbecues, alcohol, family gatherings, kids being home, eating out consistently. And then just kind of ask yourselves as well, is it really the food or is it just the situation surrounding it that's the biggest problem for you? So feel free to circle as many as you want as well, if there's a few in there. Okay, so it's good just to kind of identify it first, identify what you are actually struggling with, which ones are actually affecting you. But let's go into a little bit more deeper into that. So why we actually overeat in summer. So most people think it's just willpower, I just lack willpower. But research does suggest it is something different. Basically, most overeating comes from decision fatigue. Okay, we're just fatigued on decisions. So every decision throughout the day drains mental energy. So this can be anything. It can be not just about, deciding around food. It could be absolutely anything. Work, stress, family. The more mentally tired you become, the easier it is to be able to fall into that. It's all right, no worries. There's just a booklet over there, Lorna. So yeah, the more mentally tired you actually become, then the harder it is to make those decisions, okay? The more likely you are to seek immediate reward, generally from food. So food becomes a relief, it's not just hunger, yeah? So a lot of the times people think, well, I just lack willpower because I'm hungry, but really we're just decision fatigued. We've got too much going on, and then that leads to those easy decisions towards food. So the hidden summer trap. Summer increases decisions, social commitment, travel potentially, routines can be disrupted, we can get poor sleep, and this all builds on that kind of decision fatigue. We're getting more tired, there's more decisions going on, we've got lots of things going on here, there and everywhere, and then that means we're just choosing food as a bit of a kind of distraction sometimes. So this basically creates cognitive load. So when your brain is overloaded, the primitive brain becomes louder. So you stop asking yourself what aligns with my goals, and you start to ask what feels good right now. So that piece of chocolate, that ice cream, that burger, whatever it is. So we start to kind of come away from the goals that we're actually, working towards and the person that we want to become physically, mentally, and we just start to kind of think about what do I want right now, what here and now. So we're always going to have 3 types of hunger as well, okay? So there's 3 different types of hunger. So we've got physical hunger. So this kind of gradually builds. So a natural thing, we all get hungry, obviously. Emotional hunger. So this is triggered by feelings. Okay, when we're sad, when we're depressed, we can go to food. And then we've got environmental hunger as well. So triggered by sights, smells, situation, social pressure, that type of stuff. So we've probably all experienced these different types of hungers before, maybe just not kind of realised it or recognised it. So most summer eating, overeating comes from all of this, emotional, environmental hunger, not just the physical hunger, just on its own, yeah? So we're all going to experience physical hunger at some point, obviously, but most of our kind of summer overeating, and when we actually overeat in occasions, it's coming from those kind of emotional and environmental hungers, which is what we need to kind of recognise a little bit more. So what I want you to do is go to page 2, and I want you to just identify which hunger gets you the most. So this is all about awareness again. So is it physical hunger? Is it emotional hunger? Is it environmental hunger? And then, have a chat with the person next to you if you want. And just have a bit of a discussion around this. Cool, so hopefully we've got a bit of an idea around what's kind of triggering us a little bit more. So try to kind of think about that when you are actually in these occasions and see, what is affecting you more. But we'll go into it a little bit more. So something called the permission paradox. So one of the biggest mistakes people make is, I'll be good all week because I'm going out on Saturday. So most of us have probably said that one way or another before. So this basically creates restriction, which then creates anticipation, which then creates overconsumption. So we're just building up into this event where we just think, right, I'm going to be good all week, and then, yes, let's go for it on the weekend. So the brain perceives scarcity, and scarcity increases desire, okay? So when you're actually getting yourself into that state of mind, you actually overdo it far too much than you really should when it comes to it. So the better way to think about this is, instead of I can't have it, just use I can have it whenever I choose. Psychologically, this reduces urgency, and you move from kind of reactive eating to intentional eating, okay? So no foods are off limits, we don't ban foods, we can include them into our diet. It's just changing our kind of mindset around it a little bit more. And we'll come into a better way of kind of approaching that a little bit better. So the Summer Nutrition Framework. Just try to forget perfect eating. None of us are going to be able to do that. We want to focus on winning the majority. And you'll have probably heard me say this before in other habit hubs if you've been there before. But if we can focus 80% of our meals aligning with our goals, you will maintain or progress at least. Even if the remaining 20% are less ideal, consistency beats perfection all the time, okay? So if we can try to think about our diet as 80 to 20%, most of us are really going to make progress in that kind of percentage range. So that allows us to have this kind of 20% of freedom a little bit with our food, as long as we're kind of controlling the amounts, obviously. We can't just have 80% of good things and then 20% of high volume, less nutritious foods, okay? So if we can follow this kind of method, it is going to make you a lot more progress, and it's going to be able to, mentally make it a lot easier for you when it does come to kind of choosing food. And then if we can focus on these 4 non-negotiables around every meal. So ask ourselves, where is the protein? Have we got protein on our plate? Where's the fruit or veg? Have we got some kind of fruit or veg in there? Am I actually hungry? So actually questioning ourselves, am I actually hungry right now? Do I need this food? And will this leave me satisfied as well? So are we actually having a meal that's going to leave me satisfied? So that comes back to the protein, the fruit and the veg, because it's going to keep us more satisfied with our hunger, okay? So you don't necessarily need to be tracking, you just need these kind of anchors when we are approaching food. So if you come to every kind of meal that you have, every plate that you approach, if you can follow those steps, then more often than not you're going to be choosing a healthier meal. So what I want you to do now is build a barbecue plate. So if you've got barbecues coming up this year, I've already had a few already. Imagine you're at a barbecue. I want you to design a plate around those factors that I've just said. So protein first, fruit and veg included, but still enjoyable as well. Discuss your strategy with each other if you like. Cool, does anyone want to share some ideas then? Any good ones?
I like a burger, a beef burger, so tomato, lettuce, and some grilled onions or something, maybe some grilled corn like on the cob as well. That's quite nice. And if there's a side salad going, some cucumber maybe, like a bit of cucumber on the side. That's quite nice.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Anybody else?
The last couple of years I've started dropping the bread out completely because I realised all the real flavours in the meat. So I'll just have the meat with some salad or some.
Yeah.
Corn, the real corns and veggie kebabs. Someone did veggie kebabs with big mushroom, bits of mushroom.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nice. Yeah.
And then avoiding the sauce, because it's the sauces that will the sugar in.
Yeah.
You can make your own sauce.
Make your own sauce.
It's very burgers, you know how to do it, and actually quite quick to do. You can make a lot of sauces just with like fat-free Greek yogurt as a base, and then just add like flavourings, and then it's like really calorie.
Yep, so good idea.
And I'll put the sugar in.
Anyone else?
Chicken breast.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
chicken
Corn
breast.
skewer.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, I mean, you know, you've got to kind of decide how much you want to enjoy certain things. So if you do want a burger, then can you restrict yourself on certain other things? Okay, so are we not going to drink any alcohol with that? Are we not going to have any dessert afterwards? Not going to have an ice cream or something like that? Yeah. So
I
these
just
are the.
put alternate alcohol with soft drinks because I was just saying if there's like a bowl of Pimm's, then that's like one of my weaknesses. I will just keep going back. But if I just try and swap, like alternate alcohol and soft drinks, and yeah, that way I'm like not just drinking alcohol. And sometimes I feel like, am I drinking because I want to drink or am I just thirsty?
Yeah.
And choosing something non-alcoholic and just seeing if that like satiates in the same way.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, it's always a good idea to swap from alcohol to non-alcoholic drinks. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, there's things like, you know, grilled chicken is a healthier option, you know, like beef or chicken skewers, something like that. Again, you've got to kind of decide, do you want to really go down a healthy option and have, you know, leaner proteins like that and salad and you know, stick to that type of stuff? Or do you want to enjoy, you know, one small burger, have some side salad with that as well, and then decide your other options for that day? So it's all about, you know, deciding the whole picture with this. So, you know, that main meal, are we going to have something else after it, like an ice cream or something like that? What are we drinking? If we just go into all of it, where we have a couple of burgers, we have quite a few glasses of wine, we have an ice cream afterwards, that's when it becomes a problem. Yeah, so a lot of people just go down that route of, oh well, I'm just not thinking about it today, let's just have whatever we want. That's where it becomes a problem. We can have a little bit of both, but it's just staying contained and being able to you know, choose wisely around these things. So that's the main thing I'd say around this. Cool. So, you know, this is just a kind of scenario for a barbecue, but you can obviously take this approach to any other social occasion as well through summer. So just try and think about different occasions that you're going to come across. So the satisfaction equation. People don't overeat because they're greedy, necessarily. They overeat because meals don't satisfy them. We're just not getting enough food that satisfies our hunger. That's the problem. So satiety comes from protein, fibre, volume, slower eating, and just enjoying food as well. So a meal missing these factors often creates cravings later down the line. So if we are having, you know, low volume food that doesn't fill us up, so things with protein and fibre, then we're going to be you know, struggling with hunger levels later in the day, and that's why we overeat. Okay, so when we are choosing low quality food, this is generally why we start to overeat, and we are feeling more hungry later on in the day. So another thing that we can think about is the what happens next question. So before any decision, when you come up to eating, think about what happens next. So this is relating back to goals. So for example, if I have 8 beers tonight, what happens tomorrow? So sleep's going to be affected, we're going to feel more hungry, cravings are going to go up, our energy is going to be low, so our decision fatigue gets worse as well. Training suffers as well. You know, it could be a few days afterwards, your training could be suffering with that, you know, mentally. So think beyond the immediate reward. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so when that immediate reward comes, when it is, you know, a bar of chocolate or, you know, whatever it is that, you know, you feel is a reward, think about, you know, what happens next. Just ask yourself that question. What happens after that? Is it really worth that kind of 30 seconds of satisfaction? If it's going to completely derail your day, if it's going to derail your week, these are the decisions we need to start being a little bit more conscious about, basically. So we're just going to go into a little bit more around stress as well. So a lot of people kind of voted for stress. It's obviously a big factor in everybody's lives, work, kids, whatever's going on. So this obviously affects nutrition and how we, you know, affect our eating habits as well. So stress rarely causes weight gain directly. Okay, stress just changes our behaviour a little bit. So when we are really stressed, our behaviour is going to change. So that's why we need to be aware of it and focus on it. So when we're stressed, we tend to, you know, seek comfort, we move less, we sleep worse, you know, we crave high reward foods as well. So the issue isn't, stress itself, it's how stress influences those decisions. So obviously, if we have stressful occasions or stressful situations in our lives, everybody's going to be a little bit different with this in what they actually are. So the thing that we want to try to avoid happening is letting that stress overtake and start to derail our decisions around food and looking after ourselves, because at the end of the day, if our nutrition drops and our exercise drops, then we're going to get more stress because we don't feel very good about ourselves. So we need to try to not let stress influence those decisions around food. Instead, we need to kind of flip it around and actually use looking after ourselves and feeling better about ourselves as a bit of kind of an anchor to take stress away, basically. So if we can start to really focus on looking after ourselves with our nutrition and training and movement and sleep, then stress is going to obviously improve because of that. So the energy bank account, most people manage time successfully. Successful people manage energy, okay? So we can be good at managing time, but if we're not actually managing our energy and how we really focus on keeping high energy all the time, that's where we're going to struggle. So I want you to imagine you have physical energy, mental energy, and emotional energy. So all these 3 different types of energies can affect us, okay? And every demand creates a withdrawal, but most people never make deposits into this, okay? So I'll explain a little bit more. So I want us all to just do a bit of like an energy audit, okay, on ourselves. So I want you to think what gives you energy and what drains your energy in your life at the moment. So examples of these can be deposits, so gaining energy can be walking, training, social connection, time outdoors, things that actually lift you up and give you more energy. And then withdrawals can be doom scrolling on TikTok or whatever, poor sleep, so staying up late at night watching TV, difficult conversations with people, whether it's at work or family. Alcohol is a huge one, obviously. So I want you to have just a think between yourselves. You can chat to each other, you can write it down, whatever you want to do, and just think about your kind of deposits and withdrawals. Cool, so what does everyone think here? What's kind of giving you energy, what's not giving you energy? Anyone want to share?
People, giving energy.
People, yeah, so connection.
Yeah.
Nice.
People drain energy.
Depends on the person.
Can work for or against you, yeah.
It depends, because I'm quite extroverted, so being around my friends and seeing people does give me energy, but only to a point. And then it's like, right, I've had enough, I want to go and seclude myself. And it's like, it just kind of depends on the mood of the day. So it's like, it's like a seesaw, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I think, like I say, it can work for or against you, I think, depending on who you're with and what the social occasions are. So you've got to kind of manage who you're with and how it affects you, I guess. Yeah. Anything else?
We agree with the being outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that kind of walking, just kind of, not necessarily exercise, but just being out and about, seeing the world, being quiet without other people, is definitely kind of, where I pick up a lot of energy.
Yeah, that's it, just getting out in the fresh air and the countryside or whatever. And,
Seeing the beauty.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
For me, like cycling to work on a morning gets me, awake, ready to start the work day.
Yeah.
And then on my lunch at work, I'll take my bike out as well to, replenish the tank, as it were. If I'm after sitting at like a desk, a few hours, it's nice to get out again. Feel the wind in my hair.
Nice, yeah, no, that's a really, really good habit to have, because a lot of people can just stay stuck, if you do have a sedentary job and, stay stuck in that seat all day and not move. So, movement is such a big energy booster. Most people think movement's going to drain your energy, but it works in the opposite way, obviously. So, it's good to obviously recognise what is, giving you that energy so that you can actually keep going with it or increase it. You know, if you're someone that is struggling with energy, then maybe implement some of these things, some more social connection, trying to speak to people, you know, getting that kind of, you know, real human connection, or if it is just going out in the open space by yourself and just feeling refreshed from that, or just, you know, moving, cycling, walking, all that kind of stuff. If you're ever feeling really low on energy, just, you know, just go for a walk, put some music on in your headphones. It's one of the best things that you can do sometimes. And then obviously just being aware of what is, you know, withdrawing our energy as well. So what is kind of draining you, and can you change that? Can you actually come away from that? So if it is draining people that you don't like, and they're draining your energy, can you kick them out of your life? I don't know. So yeah, it's good to just recognise this, okay? So a little bit more into stress now, so the stress recovery gap. The problem again isn't necessarily stress. The problem can be stress without recovery. So if we're not recovering, then that stress builds, and then we're not able to manage it. So your body can handle huge stress loads. The human body is very, very resilient, provided we can recover, and we can actually recover from that afterwards. So if you think of training, stress plus recovery equals adaptation. That's what we're all doing in the gym. We're stressing our body, we're stressing the muscles, we're breaking it down, we're tearing all the muscle fibers, and then we go to bed, we sleep, all those muscle fibers build back up, they recover, and that's why we build muscle and get stronger. So if we were constantly training all the time and never sleeping, then we'd never build muscle, we'd never improve in the gym. So life works exactly the same, okay? So our brain is a muscle as well. Everything works the same. So if we're constantly stressed, if we're constantly overloaded and overworked, then we're never going to recover, we're never going to build ourselves back up again. So a little bit of stress is okay. Stress is actually good for you. It makes us more resilient, okay? It's just how we recover after that, and are we actually doing things to, as we go back to this, are we getting some more deposits into our energy system to be able to build back up? So that's really, really important with all of this. And the same, you know, when I go back to talking about the nutrition and decision fatigue, so if we are constantly overstressed and not recovering, then that's why we make those bad decisions, and that's why we're, you know, a lot of people label themselves as lacking willpower or not having enough time or anything like that, but really it's just because we're overstressed, underslept, and not being able to make decisions clearly enough. So we've just got to think of micro recovery, okay? So most people wait for a full week's holiday to recover. I do it myself sometimes as well. You know, you work so hard, you're doing all the stuff that you want to be doing, you wait for a big holiday to try and recover. But instead, we can just use little 5-minute recoveries, little strategies throughout the day, okay? So things that we've already just discussed there. So walking outside, box breathing as well, okay? So if you don't know that, it's basically counting 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds exhale, 4 seconds hold. You repeat that for a few minutes, and then you're able to bring the nervous system down, regulate yourself. So that's very good for calming as well. It's used in sports. A lot of sports athletes use it. So there's other different types of breathing techniques out there as well. I don't know if you've ever used the Wim Hof app, if you know who Wim Hof is, that Iceman. It's all about recovery and cold therapy and that type of stuff. He's got an app. It's all about breathing techniques. It's quite good if you ever want to do that. So that's good for bringing down stress. And then, yeah, things like music, stretching, having a coffee, no phone, just sitting in silence as well. Not many people sit in silence anymore. Small recoveries just accumulate, and you can start to build your energy up and reduce stress. And just doing little things like this, you know, it does really, really help. So these little 5-minute recovery strategies can start to improve the way your body is functioning. So again, thinking about our nervous system, regulating that. If we're constantly in a high level of stress, cortisol levels are really high, and we're just constantly feeling overwhelmed. Use these strategies, and it helps to bring that down and starts to bring you back down to kind of a more grounded position. So let's think about the summer and around energy as well. So summer energy formula. So before saying yes to something, ask yourself, does this create energy or consume energy? Not every invitation deserves a yes sometimes. So protecting energy isn't selfish, it's just strategic, okay? So sometimes we've just got to make better decisions for ourselves if we really think it's going to help us. So identity-based decision making, most people ask, what should I do? A more powerful question would be, what would the healthiest version of me do? Okay? So identity drives behaviour and behaviour reinforces identity. So a lot of the habit hubs that we've done in the past, we've talked around identity and changing the way we speak about ourselves, changing the way we think about ourselves. And this is a massive way to be able to do that, is just asking better questions, okay? So instead of, what should I do? What am I going to do? What would the healthiest version of me do? What would I, do in that most healthiest kind of version and state of myself? So if we start to think like that, then we're going to make better decisions and better choices because of it. So what I want you to do, if you go to page 5, is do a future you exercise. So thinking about the future you, the healthier version of you, or if you are in that place now, then the healthy version of you now. I want you to imagine it's September, so you've successfully navigated summer. What did that version of you do consistently? And I want you to just write down 3 behaviours, okay? So not outcomes that you've done, 3 behaviours that you will have lived by, okay? Cool, would anyone like to share?
Socialise with who I want.
Yeah.
Drank lots of water. Drank lots of water.
More water, yeah, 100%. Definitely good for energy, yeah, good.
Get my 10k steps in every day.
Nice steps, target, good.
Kept my sleep plan without my phone in the morning.
Good, yeah.
Keep slowly.
Yeah, it's good to narrow down as well on what's affected it. So if it is your phone, yeah, kick it out, nice.
And not giving into peer pressure for like drinking alcohol or eating lots of food.
Good, yeah, it's a big one, yeah. We all fall into that trap sometimes, so yeah, staying strong with that is, again, going back to, choosing the right decisions and making sure that you're doing it for yourself and thinking about your goals and what you're working towards. Nice. So cool guys, hopefully that gives you a good idea of what you need to focus on. Now it's going off and actually doing it and sticking to it, obviously. So I want to go through a summer success plan as well now, okay? So a little bit more. So what we need to do is complete, and this is kind of summarising everything that we've done today and really kind of narrow it down to what you need to focus on individually. I want you to put a nutrition anchor, so what are you going to focus on nutritionally? A stress recovery tool, so just one stress recovery tool that you can use. Your energy deposit, so what's that main thing that you're going to use to deposit energy into your day. And then your commitment this summer. So just think about behaviour reinforces identity. And I'll give you a load of options here. So for example, nutrition can be protein at every meal, regardless where you are. Eat a high protein breakfast before social events. Fill half your plate with protein and vegetables first. Never arrive at a barbecue starving, because that's going to only go one way. So stress recovery tool, so a 10-minute walk after work before you enter the house, 5 minutes of box breathing when you're feeling overwhelmed, sit outside with a coffee and no phone every morning, take 15 minutes to yourself after work before family commitments, energy deposit, 3 gym sessions per week no matter what, 30 minutes outside every day, 7+ hours of sleep on weeknights and weekends as well, Sunday morning walk with no distractions, and then any commitment you really want to focus on. But a few examples, I'll focus on maintaining rather than chasing perfection. So you might actually choose to maintain through summer and then kick on with your goals afterwards, completely up to you. I will enjoy social occasions without turning them into a whole weekend or overeating. I'll train twice per week, even when routine is disrupted. I'll stop using holidays as an excuse to completely switch off from healthy habits. So have a think, guys, all on you. Okay guys, we'll move on. I will upload this obviously into the WhatsApp group, so if you do want to go back to it and fill in a little bit more of your booklets after, you can do. But just some key takeaways from today. So we've covered a lot around, summer and nutrition and stress and energy, which is really, really important. So just to kind of summarise all these points. Summer doesn't ruin progress, poor systems do, okay? So if you don't have the right systems in place, that's the thing that really ruins the progress, yeah? Stress doesn't cause failure, lack of recovery does. So if we're overstressed, we're just not recovering enough, we're not using those tools to be able to reduce the stress and recover properly. Energy drives behaviour, so protect it, yeah? So if we can get our energy higher using the energy deposits and trying to avoid those energy withdrawals, then we're able to protect it more and we're going to make better decisions, okay? So focus on anchors, not perfection. Win the majority. So that 80-20% rule, focus on that around your food and you can win. Become the person who can stay consistent even when life gets busy, yeah? So we're always going to get these occasions that come up. Let's not just throw everything out the window like the majority of people do. Let's really think about how we can approach these social occasions in a better way, a more balanced way, yeah? And that is pretty much everything today, guys. So hopefully you've got some things to actually go away and put into place over summer. It's quite easy for a lot of coaches to give a diet plan and give a training plan and get you to follow that, but actually thinking about these deeper reasons and the habits and the more kind of psychological things is really important. So it's good that you've all turned up to actually work on this kind of stuff, because I know it's difficult, but it is really, really important. So definitely come to the next one if you can. Last Tuesday in July on the 28th, same place, same time. Book in on PT Minder, or just let me, one of the team, whoever know, and we can book you in. If there's anything else you do want to cover, let us know as well. I'll maybe put another poll out there, but if there's more certain topics you want to learn a little bit more around, let us know. Cheers guys, thanks for coming.